Hello everyone, this is AU-san. So in this video, I will share some tips to you that will help you to lessen your expenses while keeping your betta fish. These tips will be very helpful if you are keeping lots of bettas, since keeping bettas are very expensive and costly if you are keeping lots of them. So the first thing that we should be concerned is the home for your bettas. So bettas are known to be a territorial fish. When bettas reach an age of 3 months and up, they will become aggressive to each other. Male bettas are more aggressive than the females. If they won't get separated one by one, especially the males, they will tend to nip and bite at each other's fin. It means that male bettas would need a separate tank for each one. If you breed bettas, you would probably need a lot of tanks. Buying betta tanks are very costly, especially when you have lots of bettas. Also, your bill on water would also increase since standard sized betta tanks barely holds about a gallon of water. So if you have a total of 50 standard sized betta tanks, you would roughly need about 50 gallons of water to fill all those tanks. So remember, our goal is to save money. As a betta breeder, what I did to save money is to improvise with jars and plastic containers. You can find this anywhere and it's very eco-friendly since you recycle plastics. You wouldn't need to spend a single penny with these recyclable materials, and this technique is only applicable if you live in tropical places. If you reside on a country with winter, you would badly need a heater or heat cable for your tanks to keep warm, since bettas are a tropical type of fish. Also, cleaning these jars or plastic containers is not difficult since it won't break if you drop them from a certain height. If you would insist to stick on betta tanks, I would recommend you to buy them in bulk so that you would get discounts and save some money. For me, I prefer these plastic containers because it's cheaper and also it's less hassle to manage than glass tanks. Lastly, if you have some extra savings, you can slowly invest on betta tanks. So moving on to the next thing that we should consider is about the food for your bettas. Let's first start with the food for the betta fries. So personally, when I breed bettas, I always rely on baby brine shrimps since live foods like teknyas are not available here where I live. Due to the fact that betta fries only see moving objects, you would be obliged to give them live foods. Since baby brine shrimps are very costly, our only option is to provide them with live foods that is available in our place. If you have access or sources for dapnyas or infusoria, this would be the best option for your betta fries. These creatures can be found on stagnant waters, rice puddles, or inhabited lakes. But if you have no other options, you can use powdered egg yolks for your betta fries. But you have to be very careful when using this type of food, as it may spoil your water easily, then eventually it will kill your betta fries. Then moving on, the next thing that we will discuss is about the food for the juvenile bettas. Choosing food for your juvenile bettas is very easy. We can rely on mosquito larvae and grinder worms since this type of live foods can be cultured. Culturing this type of live foods can give you an infinite supply of food for your betta fish. Also, these type of foods are very rich in protein that will really help your bettas to grow faster. But if you don't have access to this type of live foods, you can use granulated betta pellets for your juvenile bettas. Or like me, you can use koi food for your betta fish since it's much cheaper compared to betta pellets. In my experience, koi food really works well for betta fish since koi food has a high protein content and also it has ingredients that promotes coloration for the fish that will also give your bettas vibrant coloration. So all in all, koi food is the best option if you want a food that is less expensive but still provides all the nutrients that your betta needs to support its growth. About the adult bettas, you can also give them koi food or you can feed them with mosquito larvae since it can be cultured. Also dapnya, since dapnyas can be found or accessed anywhere. So that's all for the food, and now we're moving on to the next topic, which is the water. Currently, we all know that water is very expensive, especially if you rely on tap water to use on your bettas. Generally, betta fish are one of the most hardy fish in the hobby since they can tolerate dirty water with high concentration of ammonia. However, it is necessary to provide our betta fish with clean water in order to sustain their optimal status. Clean water enhances the growth of betta fish. Some hobbies change 100% on their bettas tanks, and this consumes a lot of water, and this is a thing that you want to avoid. So the most effective way to minimize the usage of water is to only siphon the dirt at the bottom of the tank. In this way, you can only discard about 30 to 40% of water from your bettas tank. Also, by using this method, you can clean the tanks in a much simpler and less stressful way for your betta. 30 or 40% of water change is already enough for the bettas to stay healthy. What's more important is to remove the waste or dirt of your bettas inside the tank to avoid the concentration of ammonia that might eventually kill your betta fish. But if you have a source for deep well or free fresh water, it will be a good alternative to tap water since it's free and very safe for the fish. If you're using tap water for your betta fish, this method will be very helpful in order to lessen your expenses on keeping your bettas. So that's all for the water. And the next thing we will discuss, I think, is the most efficient way to lessen your expenses or aid your expenses in maintaining your betta fish hobby. If you've been into breeding and growing betta fries, you would probably end up with lots of adult bettas. And keeping a huge quantity of bettas is very difficult and expensive since you need to feed all of them, change their water, and provide the adequate space that they need. So in order to keep up with the expenses and maintain a healthy population of your betta fish, I would advise you to sell some of them. A pet quality betta would roughly sell $1 each, and a decent quality one would sell around $2 to $4. Then how much more if you can sell high quality bettas that would cost around $10 to $15 each. This is already enough to at least help you maintain your betta fish hobby. And lastly, what are the benefits of selling your bettas? So first, it will help you to maintain a healthy population that you could perfectly sustain. You should always remember that you should only keep a decent population of bettas where you can manage them perfectly, where you can provide them with their all necessary needs like food, water, and enough space. So the next benefit of selling your bettas is that you can gain a profit in return. This is self-explanatory and I already explained it earlier. So betta fish is very profitable since it's a very popular fish, especially for the beginners. And lastly, the benefit of selling your bettas is to help you upgrade your setup and quality of your fish. Since you are gaining profit from selling bettas, you can slowly invest on your setup, like buying new tanks and buying high quality betta pellets. Or else you can use it to buy higher quality of breeder bettas to upgrade your strain. Keeping bettas is not difficult. All we have to do is to use our imagination. Being creative in this hobby is very important, as this makes the hobby very easy. Bettas are beginner-friendly fish, but as you go deeper into the hobby, things get serious. What you need to do is to try different techniques until you find the method that would suit you well. So that's all for today, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you again very soon.